Hey Boyd, how you doing? So far this month I've done all streaming all the time. Well, I'm gonna switch that up just a little bit, but still keep to my theme of movies that I've been meaning to see but haven't seen because I got a whole big wall of movies and there's still plenty of them that I haven't gotten around to seeing, and some of them definitely fit that theme. Yeah, The Haunting, 1963. Embarrassingly, I have not actually seen this one yet. There's no real reason for me to be putting it off. I just never came across it in the wild until just earlier this year, and I just never bumped into it on TV, never directly sought it out. I actually saw the 99 one in theaters way back when. Was it 99? Feels like it came out earlier than that, but I did see that one in theaters, and at the time I thought it was fine. Now I admit it's a little lackluster. Now, The Haunting. I watched this with my partner, as she had some curiosity about it, as we're both fans of the Flanagan adaptation for The Haunting of Hill House, which is absolutely nothing like the story, but it's a cool setup. So, The Haunting. Another one that's considered a classic haunted house movie. And yeah, I'll say it holds up very well. For a movie that's actually rated G, it actually delivers a decent amount of tension. There were some scenes that, well, not, I would say scary, definitely got the heart going. Now, the characters in this one are definitely also very well put together, and I will say a lot of the dialoguing was working really well for me. There's a lot of lines I liked. There's a lot of the chemistry between the characters I enjoyed. And I will say the character of Luke's comedic relief moments was working for me. Alright, so this one, a doctor who is studying the supernatural is bringing a few people who've been touched by said supernatural to a infamous haunted house, the dreaded Hill House. A 90-year-old mansion that is supposedly born bad and has claimed many victims over the years, with a very troubled past. Now, he brings 3 people in with him. Then Eleanor, who's pretty much had spent the last 10 or 11 years serving her mother hand and foot, and now that her mother's passed away, she's a little bit rudderless, especially since she's effectively homeless and living in her sister's living room. So she views that she needs this as an escape from that. There is Theodora, or Theo, who is then empathic and has ESP, and she's essentially, that's one of her reasons for being there. Eleanor is there because she had a psychic poltergeist experience when she was younger, but Theodora is there and is pretty much the snarky bohemian one who occasionally just is teasing Eleanor, but she's got definitely there's a lot of chemistry between those two, and I know, reading into the trivia, a lot of it was intentional, that Theodora was supposed to have a bit of a thing for Eleanor, and though a lot of censors wanted it completely eliminated or really played down, it still actually comes across pretty well, just from how the characters interact and how even just Theodora looks at her. Theodora is very well written in this. And Luke is pretty much the guy who set to inherit the place, and just kind of there to keep an eye on his investment and figure out how much it's going to be worth. And he's pretty much not believing in the supernatural at all. And, well, from there, it's a fairly standard haunted house fare, but it's some of the original haunted house fare, so that's kind of, I guess it kind of earns it. It's very well put together. I can see why it's a classic. It's really enjoyable and I definitely see why it's gotten so many adaptations, remakes. It does make me want to sit down and finally get around to reading the original book. I'm trying to think of how much more there is to say about it. A lot of this one is left in the realm of the mind. They don't show a lot overtly, and there's even some debate whether or not anything supernatural was actually happening, or with how much of it was in the mind of Eleanor, as she's the one who's drawn most of the house, and the house seems to be trying to pull her in. A lot of the things are given possible explanations, though some are not entirely sure on what's actually going on, like a lot of the sounds that are going on. At first, only Eleanor and Theodora are the only ones hearing them. Is something actually making the sounds, or is it in Eleanor's mind? Is Theodora's empathy allowing her to also hear it? But most of the supernatural events are happening more around Eleanor, and she's becoming increasingly determined to stay in the house, no matter the cost. Despite the doctor now becoming more and more reluctant to have her there, given how dangerous things might get, as this house has claimed victims in the past. As for effects, there are very little actual effects in the movie, but the makeup effects that do work. The characters you get invested with. I will say some of Eleanor's outbursts get a little... She goes from 0 to 100 pretty quick sometimes. But that's also kind of like her mental state right then. So it's never unbelievable, but it does make her sometimes hard to sympathize with. But yeah, overall, the movie's beautifully shot. Has definitely a good ambiance and aura of dread, and I do recommend The Haunting quite highly. I'm trying to debate where to give this on a MacGuffin scale. Trying to figure out in relation to The Changeling, since that one is also another iconic haunted house film that I was just seeing. I think I gave The Changeling a 7. I think I actually might have enjoyed... Did I like this one more than Changeling? Changeling was really well put together. Though I think this one, for me, the story itself, while very simple, works very well. So the characters are really what kind of win this one over. I did enjoy spending time with them, even though George C. Scott was a delight in The Changeling. I think I'll give this one a little bit higher, but I think it's still 7 MacGuffins. I'm keeping it at that same level. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say on this one. Definitely check it out. Don't sleep on it like I did. Yeah, so I'm probably not going to get a chance to throw a review up tomorrow, but then come the weekend, and, well, we'll see how much I can get through. Talk to you then, Void.